I want to talk to you this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whatever time you're listening to this. I've seen a number of videos online where guys are running, exercising, doing all of these things. And at first I was cautious about doing videos like those. But then I started thinking, if I'm supposed to live my life consciously, what does that actually mean? What does it mean for me to have intention about my life, about the life of my family, the life of my friends, the life of my profession? And so exercise, well-being, these are all things that can help you to be able to continue to have awareness. They bring you back to the present moment because in those moments, you focus more on how your body feels. What's your goal? What's your target overall? And that intention is necessary for consciousness, for you to be conscious about your life, about your health, about how you live your life, and about how you act in all of those spaces. Whether you're doing this for yourself, whether you're doing this for your family, if you have any children, how can you be able to inspire them to live a life that glorifies existence, that glorifies purpose, that glorifies intention? And so I come to you this morning conscious about what's happening in Uganda Law Society, and in particular, hurt and disheartened. Not really disheartened, but like I said, conscious about what is happening in our society. We're seeing that as of next week, which will be the week of the 11th to 19th, I think, we have two notices about two separate AGMs. One is from our council, which we elect, and the other is from the secretary, who was, for whatever reason, out from his position. But I also know that there is a pending court case, which President Semakade alluded to when we spoke on a spaces earlier in the week. Hashim Mugisha and others versus Uganda Law Society. And I do know that that case does not bar us or stop us from having an annual general meeting where we vote our elected candidates. But that not only being the reason why, and the reason why that is important is because on the 27th of September, their term of office, our president and our council expires. So most of us ask that question, what happens after that? And I start with that knowing that I may get criticism from a few members who think that all of this is about an election, that all of this is about winning or losing. No, this is about what is happening to Uganda Law Society. And as an association, as a membership, what is our goal? What is our target? Should we continue to focus on protest alone? Or should we start to act and see how can we change the trajectory of our society? We live in, our society is part of a global bar. And that means that what we do in Uganda will be reflected in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Rwanda, in the DRC, in Burundi, in America, in Australia. All of those entities that represent their members, their societies, advance first and foremost the interests of its members. Things like how are young lawyers supposed to be able to earn a living? Heck, leave young lawyers, even the older lawyers. We are all struggling in a market that has fewer cake and fewer opportunities, and yet we are not talking about practically how can we expand the cake? How can we focus on things like mentorship, on things like specialization? I see that we have a number of our older colleagues that have an opportunity to be able to stand out and speak and guide the society, teach the young lawyers, teach all of us about how they have walked their path, speak out about the issues that are happening in our society at the moment. But whenever some of them have tried to speak out, they've been abused, they have been bullied, they have been cajoled. I am asking you, my dear members, will you continue to be bullied into submission, into cowering and not speaking out on these issues that affect all of us? This is our bread and butter that we're playing around with. And as Uganda Law Society, we have the mandate, we have the mission to be able to move forward and act all together to fight all of these injustices that are occasioned to us and to our clients and to our communities. Uganda Law Society is comprised of so many members. If we're only focusing on the judiciary, what about you in-house counsel? What about you with your practice in the corporate world? What about URSB? What about Ministry of Justice? What about Ministry of Lands? All of these institutions who are also stakeholders in the justice, law and order system. So I ask you, what are your pain points? Are they being addressed now by the current bar? How do we move forward as a bar with a mind to be able to fight, to be able to move? And so if I'm to live my life consciously, that means the choices I make, the decisions I make must reflect that. What is on the outside must reflect what's on the inside. And what is on the inside is pain for where our society is, but also hope for where we can be able to go as a society, as a bar. And so I urge you to be conscious about what's happening in our society, to be cautious about what's happening in this current state of mind, and to be aware about the diversions that we have currently at the bar. Mine is to ask that we're all united. We all have the same struggles, we all have the same goal, which is to have a bar association that speaks and works to the success of its members and to upholding the rule of law, wherever you are, in whatever position or profession you have been called. Let us this now to the council members. Why and how can we urge you as members who elected you into these positions to focus first and foremost on democracy? We cannot be said to be the arbiters of rule of law when we are using these tactics to delay the voice of the people. Let us have this annual general meeting. Can you all agree, knowing that all your terms are expiring on the 27th of September, to call for this annual general meeting? Let us discuss all of these issues. The Judicial Service Commission elections that have delayed for all of this time. The issues to do with our representation across the different ministries or different bodies that require us to be able to speak as Uganda Law Society. All of these issues can only be discussed by the members, and I'm urging you to take this power back to the people, because it is your responsibility to do that. So this morning, I'm asking you, let's be conscious about what's happening in the bar. Let's be conscious about what's happening to our society. And I do hope we can work together in ensuring that we see the next level bar, one that competes favorably in Africa and across the world. The issues that we're grappling with, these are distracting us from the real issues. Expanding our cake, empowering our young lawyers, championing legal reform, and ensuring we have a justice system that is readily represented across the different sectors. Lastly, I'd also like to urge any women or female lawyers that are listening to this, be intentional about the affairs that are happening in your society. Come up and take up this on council. When the election comes up, I urge you to come. The only way you can be represented is if you have women standing up and actually taking up these positions at the Uganda Law Society Council. At the moment, it's all men. And I think that is also reflective of where we are as a society. So I urge you, female lawyers who are listening to this, can you take up that responsibility? Don't be afraid that you will be abused or you will be bullied. There are those of us that will stand with you and encourage you and even be abused on your behalf. So please, let us all work together, fight together to see the Uganda Law Society that we want, the Uganda Law Society that the past presidents have laid a ground for us to have. And even for the President Semakade, who is most likely listening to this, thank you for the work that you've done. We all espouse the values of the Radical New Bar, but we are not happy with the trajectory of where we are and the council trying to hold on to power or refusing to listen to the mandate of the members in being able to further the direction or cause of Uganda Law Society. Thank you and good day.